Greetings, heroes and Force users of all ages, and welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. As always, I'm Dino Nicandros, and I'm joined by Alyssa Simmons.
Hello.
And Daniel Dawson.
Hello there.
And today we are talking episode 2 of Marvel Studios' What If? This is What If T'Challa Became a Star-Lord? Directed by Brian Andrews, written by Matthew Chauncey, and by God, we're Marvel fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Well, this is What If fully realized.
Oh my gosh. This is the show. This is the show.
They keep raising the bar. I'm so, this was so good. This was so good. I lost count by how many people I saw, how many nerd friends I saw, post about this particular episode. You know, it takes a lot to get people to like.
Yeah, it just kept us on our feet and kept us guessing the entire time. There was never a moment where we're like, oh, this is going to happen next and he'll have this decision between this and that. It was all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, and the first episode, felt a little more tightly connected to the original story. This felt a little more loosey-goosey. And I mean, yes, it was still very much within the world. There was
I think it's
so
smart.
much different.
I think it's
that
smart that they did that though. That the first episode was more structured.
Yeah.
So that they
to
could
kind
be
of ease us into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's legit. And
it differentiates all these different parallel timelines that some are really close to what we know and some are so extremely not. And
right.
This one in particular changes the entire Infinity Saga.
Yeah, all of the MCU is completely different.
I mean, just...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's just this particular universe. So I'm still wrapping my mind around, all it changes is this tiny little offshoot of the main timeline. But
maybe the difference
really
is too, and actually this is interesting. I didn't even think about this until now, but the difference between the first episode and the second episode is that the variant choice that was made, the story doesn't take place very long after that moment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But as opposed to the second episode where the variant choice happens when T'Challa is a kid, and then we see him at least 20 years later, is that what they said?
Yes.
So obviously within 20 years so much different can happen. So it's cool. I think so. We've seen what happens right after the choice is made, and now also what happens 20 years down the line. So we can see how different things can become. Very, very. It just kept me guessing every time, and and it was hilarious, so
funny.
And I was just delighted. So fun.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but the episode felt like a running commentary on Peter Quill's Star-Lord.
Yeah,
totally.
Right.
And just how much he effed up just by being himself.
Right. Correct.
Which people have been giving him crap for since Infinity War.
Right.
Yes.
But now seeing it under this lens is it's even more amplified.
So
I
funny.
mean, just his very existence is a problem.
Pretty great.
Sorry, Chris Pratt.
You're great, but Star-Lord is a spaz. So.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll jump into a quick summary, and then we can, as we go along, we can kind of unpack some of the wild, jaw-dropping,
oh my God,
little surprises. The episode does start exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy did. We're on Morag, and we see Star-Lord going into the chamber to collect the Power Stone. Different
no
here,
fun
he's
music,
not.
Though.
Yeah, he's not dancing his way
Yeah,
in. He's
no
all
music.
business. He grabs the sphere, and he is surrounded by Korath, who you'll remember is Ronan's henchman from Guardians of the Galaxy. And this was the fun began just moments in. Instead of having the moment where Chris Pratt has to explain his status as Star-Lord, Korath knows exactly who he is and is a major fanboy.
Big fan. Big fan.
Big fan.
Classic Star-Lord.
Classic Star-Lord is getting the
Classic.
crap knocked out of him, and he's just loving his life.
Oh my God, this voice actor is having the time of his life, like reinventing his character, because it's like the most different from where he was.
This is Jimon Honsu, who is Korath, and we also saw Korath in Captain Marvel as well as part of that Kree Special
Yes,
Forces.
yes.
But yeah, he was great.
Oh, so
was-
funny.
T'Challa quickly dispatches this group, and he walks outside, and he is surrounded. And this is where it takes another turn. Instead of having made this journey to grab the Power Stone by himself, we find Yondu is there with him, providing support, and it's great to have Michael Rooker back.
He's so great.
He is.
Yondu is one of the best characters in the MCU. I think he's
Oh yeah, and it was so fun to see him animated. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
just by nature of how he looks, it just fit in so perfectly.
Yeah.
We already kind of get hints that their relationship is just a lot better than he and Quill's, where
Yeah.
Quill's was very toxic
Mm-hmm.
in some respects with Yondu, but there seems to be a mutual admiration society here with between these two, and it speaks to T'Challa's innate ability as a politician and a
Leader and
empathetic leader, and you get sprinkles of this all the way through, which is just so wonderful. So they go back to celebrate grabbing the orb, and we see some familiar faces. We see Kraglin and Taserface and guys from the Ravager gang, and Korath is asking him, how did you stop Thanos from destroying half the universe? And I'm like, what? And then enter the giant purple hand of Thanos. He says, he talked me out of it, basically.
And so now he's just one of the guys.
He's one of the gang.
Yeah.
He just
And-
decided
and
to
we-
join forces.
Yeah, we come to find out that T'Challa was able to use an argument with Thanos and appealing to Thanos' immense intelligence, and convinces him, there's a better way to allocate the universe's resources. But Thanos then drops kind of the little note, I still think my plan has some merit.
Yeah.
So, like-
where he's just like, nah. I love that it's just a
It's like,
reoccurring joke.
So, yeah, sure, that sounds a lot like genocide.
Yes. He's like, yeah, but it's efficient.
If
Oh
it
my
works.
gosh. Seeing Thanos in that way,
In funny form.
like, was so, like, it just made me so giddy. Like, it
Well-
really tickled me like
Same.
so much.
And a few episodes ago, I feel like we were talking about how we're going to see Thanos again in some really esoteric, odd way. And I mean, here you go.
Here
he
is the first example. Yeah.
Yeah. Him being helpful and how helpful somebody as powerful as him can be. So that was great. And then we get two more like back-to-back quick reveals. T'Challa goes to the bar, and there's our friend Drax,
Yep.
As a bartender.
fanboying over Star-Lord as well. And he wants to take a selfie for his wife and child who survive in this timeline because
Aw.
Thanos didn't murder them.
So sweet.
Um,
And actually, I mean, I don't know who this voice. I actually should have looked it up, but the voice actor, like, this is one of the few that isn't the actual original actor, and
Oh, it
sounds
was,
just
uh,
like
yeah.
him.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Fred Tatasciore, I think is how you say it. I think it's Italian. But yeah, he sounded a lot like
Oh, okay,
Dave
yeah.
Bautista.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. Like the timing of his, like, it's just so specific, and so dry.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
The everything is over his head,
Yeah.
except nothing could get over his head because he would kill it, as he says in
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I love that character. I love that character
it's so
so
It
much.
is, it is truly
Just
one of my
so
favorite
good.
MCU characters. Yeah.
So then, up walks this bombshell. Quite frankly,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
What a
Who
baby.
the hell is this blue
Nebula, sporting flowing blonde locks, and looking mostly normal for the most part. There's no cybernetic enhancements aside from one of her eyes, and she's not as tightly wound as her cinema counterpart.
Yeah, she
I
definitely
wonder,
doesn't
gee,
have
I
that
wonder
same-
why.
Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe
I
she
wonder
wasn't.
why. Maybe she wasn't
submitted
abused
to.
and
Yeah, right. Maybe she wasn't submitted to a full rebuild of her
Yeah, for
after being
God's
pulled
sake.
apart.
And she doesn't talk like that blah 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 anymore.
Yeah, she doesn't have the robotic sound. And here it seems she and T'Challa, I don't know what the nature of their relationship is, but it's very
it's something.
flirtatious.
There's a past, maybe.
There's a past. She calls him Cha-Cha.
That's
Mhm.
cute.
But she tells T'Challa that she has a job for them, and this is where things start to get real weird.
Well, this is
So
where
crazy.
the classic heist drums play.
Mhm.
Right,
The heist bongos, we'll call them.
right. So Nebula tells the Ravager gang, that she wants to steal something called the Embers of Genesis, which she describes as a nutrient-rich cosmic dust from an ancient supernova with the power to terraform entire ecosystems.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And if you were looking for a natural solution to the problem Thanos is trying to address,
Right, I
this
was
is
totally gonna say that.
it. So that's very cool that they're
Might be
working
why,
that in.
like, really, it could be one of the only reasons why Thanos is like, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right. There's probably something out there that'll help.
Right. And she wants to steal it from the Collector, our friend Tannelir Tavan.
Mm-hmm.
Who's now the big cheese in town.
Yes, in this reality, he is basically taken on the Thanos role.
And
Stepped
he
into
is
the void.
ripped.
Yeah, he
and
looks
he is
great.
ripped. He
Good
lifted
for
some
him.
weights.
He's
lifted
really
some weights.
he's been going
and
to CrossFit in this multiverse.
And he seems to have collected more in
Mhm.
this universe than he had before. Or at least more
Yes.
like
His
triple
his
A
space-
items.
Yeah, his space is much larger and more elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
And he has employed the Black Order, which you will remember from Infinity War and Endgame, are Thanos' lackeys.
Yeah, I guess it
and
doesn't
they-
matter which universe they're in. They're still
They're still
Right.
there.
They still suck.
turds.
Well, and in this universe, it's interesting that Thanos still started bad. So
Right.
so these people followed Thanos and then I guess decided not to anymore.
They now consider Thanos a pussy.
Right. So they arrive at Nowhere, which is still the same. And if you'll remember, Nowhere is basically a giant skull of a long dead celestial that they've put a mining colony in, and still looks very much like the film version.
Mm-hmm.
Yondu and T'Challa and Nebula, and they sneak in pretending to be clients, and Thanos and Korath are tasked with putting on some theater outside to distract the Black Order. So you have a few fun little moments here when T'Challa's rummaging through the Collector's collection, and we see Howard the Duck,
Just
voiced by
wonderful.
Seth Green.
Yeah, Seth Green is so perfect for that part.
So funny,
Yeah.
and T'Challa lets him out and asks him to give him the tour, as it were. And meanwhile, outside, you've got Thanos beating the crap out of Korath because he keeps calling him Captain Genocide. And Proxima Midnight, who's the leader of the Black Order, she runs out, and so apparently the diversion has worked. T'Challa ditches Howard, and you get this was to me the most poignant moment of the episode. So T'Challa ditches Howard. He's in another compartment, and his necklace, his Wakandan necklace, starts to glow.
we get
And
those
he turns
Wakanda
around.
Drums.
Yeah. And he turns around, and there's a Wakandan vessel sitting parked behind him. So the Collector somehow got his hands on a Wakandan vessel. And T'Challa goes in, and a recording is activated, and it's his father, T'Chaka. And this transmission was presumably sent to every Wakandan vessel and anybody within earshot, and he's calling out for his son, who was abducted in much the way Peter Quill was, and
seemingly like going out into space.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it sort of seemed like
Wakandans
that.
were a spacefaring tribe, like how
I mean,
cool.
or he was sending people to look for T'Challa.
Yeah,
You know?
like the fact that that is a really cool new bit of information, knowing that the Wakandans were potentially they at least they had the ability to go to space.
Right. And we get this episode gives us a few little drops of backstory. One difference is T'Challa kind of goes willingly with Yondu. So maybe abduction isn't the right word. It's like, how did you get here? They thought this was Peter Quill.
Right.
Immediately, Yondu kind of takes on the father role, and T'Challa's really excited to see the universe.
Yeah, he wants to explore.
But
Stilted
Yondu
in Wakanda.
Yondu still lied to him in
Right.
that he told him Wakanda was destroyed. So you can imagine what this moment is like for T'Challa, seeing his dad, and his dad says, wherever you are on this plane or the next, we will find you. And that was such a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's at this point T'Challa is seemingly double crossed by Nebula. She tells him, "I needed you to get close, and sorry about it." So we think we've got classic Nebula back.
Yeah.
Very much her father's son. Or daughter, excuse me. So the Ravagers are captured, and T'Challa is chewing Yondu out about the bullshit. And in walks Corvus Glaive, another one of the Black Order members, and he takes T'Challa to the Collector. But before he can do that, Nebula then triple crosses.
And I'm so mad at myself because they totally got me.
Yeah,
I
they
was
got
like,
me.
oh,
Too.
yeah,
They got
yeah.
all of us.
Damn it!
Well, because
Like,
we
that
were
was a
like,
good-
oh,
yeah.
this is like you said, Dina. We're like, oh, this is classic
Typical Nebula.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
okay, of course.
Yeah, they
Of course she's-
knew we
of
were going to
course.
think that.
And then they got us again.
JK.
Yeah, that was a
Not
successful
in this
triple
universe.
cross.
She is a good person.
And Nebula reveals that this whole thing was just her plan to steal the embers out from the Collector's nose. So a series of ruses to ultimately do what they came for.
And it worked.
So they begin their escape, but the Collector intervenes. As you were referencing earlier, Daniel, this is where we get a good look at all of the Collector's new toys.
Oh, my goodness.
He has these crates just full of them, and we see Captain America's shield. Yikes.
Mjolnir?
We see Mjolnir. We see, he uses a knife used by the head of the Dark Elves, Malekith.
Right.
Malekith, excuse me. And then he whips out Hela's necro sword and her headdress.
I fucking
That-
died.
Great fight.
Yeah, that made me squeal. That
When-
made me squeal big time.
When he does the same
Mhm.
pose where he sort of
Slicks
combs
the
his hair back,
hair,
Yeah.
like she does. I died. I was like, yes, get it, queen.
Yeah. He was like, she has such style.
I was secretly hoping that she was going to show up in this, just because I
Oh,
love Hera and I love Kate Blanchett so much. But I guess she did.
Well-
in a way. I mean,
well-
it's,
in a
well,
way.
And never say never.
yeah, never
because
say
we've
never.
got a
Yeah.
It could
we've
be,
got a Loki-centric
Loki's got an episode. So
That's legit. I was gonna say that what I am curious about in his new collection is whether or not he was able to take these things from these people, or
They were,
if
delivered
these
to him.
people are dead, he had to kill them to get it. Like the one I could see him taking the captain's shield. I might be able to see him taking Mjolnir, but I mean I don't even know, because nobody can pick it up unless they're quote unquote
I mean,
worthy.
I think these were stuff that was probably delivered to. I mean, the nature of his character, was always having others go fetch stuff
Right.
or
Yeah.
stumbling upon stuff accidentally or
But Hela, I mean, she's like, she's like a god. So I'm
yeah,
like,
I doubt he took that off her himself. But,
yeah.
But
Very, very interesting. I
interesting.
mean, my imagination's running wild.
so we have this great knockdown, drag out fight. They are able to steal his armband, and they lock
Very
him in
classic.
his container.
It's basically what they did with
Thanos.
Thanos glove.
Yeah, a
more or less.
misdirect, and he somehow ends up with the gauntlet. And they release all the prisoners from from their cages, and we assume that the collector is not in great shape after that.
Poor little bugger.
Meanwhile, outside,
But we don't see it happen.
No, but he's probably
we can
dead.
think about it. Yeah.
He's probably dead.
we can think about it.
I mean, he's dead in this universe. And outside, Thanos tries to cover their escape.
Oh yeah,
by
we
taking
basically
on-
get like Thanos is like acting like their Hulk basically.
Right.
Thanos
Right, and-
smash.
So Thanos is taking on the remaining Black Order, and you see Nebula express some concern for him. So while they still have a contentious relationship, it's healing, which
Yeah.
is nice
Yeah.
to see. But Thanos is in really bad shape, and credit this episode for making us root for him
I know.
and maybe worry about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the course of like 20 minutes, we're like, oh,
I mean, yikes! After everything
After
we've
everything
seen this
he's
man
done.
do.
Yeah. But this is a different Thanos.
Right.
I mean,
This
this
is a different Thanos. This is reformed Thanos. Nebula does come to his rescue, and she releases some of the spores and
Into the guy's mouth.
into his
Yeah,
mouth.
woo.
Yikes.
Giant vine grows right through him and
Whoops.
dispatches the Black Order, and they're able to escape on their ship as Nowhere is consumed with beautiful new plumage.
And it's interesting to me too, because I mean, like, it says it basically can restore. What was their description of it again? Like,
It can
So
restore
basically-
entire ecosystems, and
yeah, like, so I mean,
it's
obviously
terraforming.
Yeah, like terraforming, right? Nowhere was not really a planet. It was like a being. So it's not going to be able to restore like the celestial being, I guess.
No, it's just growing nice plants on
Just
it.
growing nice plants, yeah.
Yeah.
Making it
This is
making Nowhere into like a giant chia pet, more or less.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it. Cosmic chia pet.
Yeah.
Cosmic
chia pet.
So
They should make that.
to
Chia
Yeah,
pets
honestly,
should-
that would be cute.
That'd be really cool.
so we get a happy ending where T'Challa takes the Ravagers to Wakanda, now knowing that it's survived, and the Wakandans are partying it up with the Ravagers, and you have another moment of Thanos explaining to the Wakandans. They're like, "My friend, that sounds a lot like genocide."
Oh my god.
Yeah, when the Dora Milaje was like, no.
It's like, yikes, that sounds bad.
Too funny.
And it was nice to have the moment you don't get ever with Peter Quill of his chosen family meeting his real family.
Yeah.
And, that was really special, and particularly special for Chadwick Boseman's last performance.
Yeah. It was so touching and sweet, and the music department really, I mean, I think that they, in post kind of like knew the gravity of what they were doing, because they really gave I think they gave the music the weight that it needed.
Yes.
For sure.
But the episode ends with a shot of Peter Quill, and he's mopping a floor in a diner, and
With his music.
and in walks Ego, voiced by Kurt Russell.
Whoops.
And he has come to claim Peter, and the Watcher is telling us, while this might signal the end of the world, that's for another time.
Yeah, that's for another story.
Well, that's how that universe ends. Great.
Yikes.
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 Yeah, because
Whoa.
at this point, Peter Quill has, not lived through all of the the cool things that he did in the original universe, and he hasn't met all those friends, and so he's a completely different person at this point, or at
Right.
least the nurture part of him is completely different.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you look back to Guardians, like basically the only reason he got out of that situation with Ego was because of
Of his
Gamora, and but like
yeah,
like you
and
said in this,
they don't exist in his life.
yeah, if they
now.
don't exist, and he gets brought up to Ego's heaven or whatever, and then that's problematic.
Spooky
obviously,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds like he's in for it.
So that's the recap.
What a fun, and then we get a nice, a lovely tribute.
A tribute to Chadwick. at the
Yeah.
end. I was reading that
Although
Chadwick
this
Boseman.
isn't his last episode, right? Am I right
I
by
don't
saying that there's
know.
a few more
I don't-
episodes that he has?
I don't know.
He might show up elsewhere. I don't know. He might show up elsewhere.
Yeah,
The only one I'm certain of is Carter. But
This is his episode where he is like the
central figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think that he might be guest starring in a couple of.
But I was reading that he was one of the first actors to sign on to do this because he was so excited to get T'Challa out there in a different manner. And then he
Cute.
mentioned in the lead up to Black Panther 2 that he wanted to incorporate more of this version of the character's
Mm.
gentleness and kind of fun-loving nature into T'Challa going forward.
Cute.
And it's a shame we are
We won't ever
robbed
get it.
of that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it meant so much to him, and it obviously means so much to
The
so many
world.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
He did an excellent job here, and it was an episode fit for a king, if ever I saw one.
Yeah, I mean, really though, they didn't do him dirty. Like it was a beautiful, perfect episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I just was thinking about too. I recently just worked with someone who is writing an animated feature with an entire black cast,
Oh, cool.
and the protagonist is a black man,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, he was just telling me, he's like, it like doesn't exist in animation, really. Like there's no lead black men characters
Wow.
that are not doing bad stuff, basically.
Sure.
He's like,
right.
they're the protagonist. And so that was on my mind. And then watching this episode that was so beautifully done and hearing Chadwick's voice, like it was so special. And I know,
Special in many ways. Yeah.
I know getting to hear him again will be so important for people, and also for the black community, getting to see a nurturing, sensitive, empathetic black man as the protagonist in animated form is really cool.
Yeah.
And
And also
I-
just like having such a profound effect on the entire universe, like, saving entire like planets of people, just because he exists in
Well,
that.
just through talking,
Yeah,
just through
right,
reason,
It is pretty special to see a black man
which isn't that
do all of
isn't that
that.
great medicine for what we've experienced over the last year. Imagine if we just sat down and talked and
Yeah.
attempted understanding, and
Mhm.
how that's what T'Challa stands for. And really, even though the story of this T'Challa is so different, it mirrors his relationship with Killmonger. He tells Killmonger, look, I understand why you're angry, but this is not the way.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
patience is going to take us a long time, but I promise you, if we stay true to who we are and fight the good fight, then things will change. And T'Challa's proof of that in this episode. By just being who he is, he changes the universe.
Right. Even
as
though
you
his
said, Daniel.
circumstances and his story was completely different, he, at the core of who he is
It's
the
still
same.
T'Challa.
Still
Yeah.
T'Challa.
And he's still his father's son. I mean, like,
Yeah.
he still has T'Challa. Like his upbringing is still the same, so he's very much a product of where he came from, and it shows Wakanda's positive influence on the universe, which was really great. I loved there was a touch. So in Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill's ship is called the Milano, and it's
Oh,
named after
yes.
his childhood crush, Alyssa Milano.
Yes.
In this one, he's got Mandela
Yeah.
on the ship
That was very cool.
after Nelson Mandela.
Very
I love that.
sweet.
And this was 4 years before. There's that little prequel segment of Black Panther showing a young King T'Chaka who goes to visit his brother in Oakland. That takes
Right.
place in 1992, so this is about 4 years before that.
Gotcha.
I really loved.
Lamp.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, that's what I feel like saying because
I
I
love
just kind of
Lamp.
loved
Yeah.
all of it.
How can we keep saying we loved the entire thing?
Yeah,
Like,
I
we-
just this episode, like, I mean, I was already excited about the series, but like this episode has got me lit up in a whole new set of ways. I to see where this show, because it's seemingly doing something more than just entertaining. I don't. This is going to be very, very cool to see where they go. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
And I didn't catch this until the second time around because I was watching on my computer. So when the Collector is fighting with them, the one
Yeah.
weapon I didn't mention was his giant stone arm.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh.
And if you listen
I didn't see
closely,
that.
he says, I hacked this off the carcass of a terribly chatty Cronin.
Oh,
and
no.
He's talking about
Taika
Korg.
Waititi.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Taika Waititi.
So that's
Oh, there goes my arm.
hey, well that sucks. That
It's
sucks.
a big problem. I didn't have an arm anymore.
My name's Korg. That's my arm.
You got Wi-Fi password? So yeah, that was disturbing turn of events.
Very sad. Truly, for me, like the biggest shame is that like this character and like universe could absolutely still exist, and you could give me so many more episodes of just that, and I would be super stoked because I so easily fell in love with all of those people.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think they absolutely did their job then. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's the goal, right?
totally.
Is that it's not just like a one-off thing that you're like, oh, that was fun to live in that for 25
Wasn't that
minutes.
great?
moving
Well, and that's
on.
kind of the melancholic nature of it is that we're just glimpsing universes here and then moving on and it's kind of teaching you to not get attached.
Yeah, I
because-
suppose.
And especially the way they left the episode, it doesn't look good for this timeline.
Yeah.
Like if Peter goes on to be Ego's puppet, Ego destroys the universe.
Now-
So
Now thinking sort of like I'm just curious what you guys think about this thought. I mean, like, do you believe, because there is a season 2, and we have heard
Yep.
that we are getting a Captain Carter reemergence
Mhm.
in that season. We don't know whether it's a continuation of her story, but more than likely it will be, or at least her continuation from her story in season 1. Do you think it's possible that we could get another T'Challa as Star-Lord, but like just not Chadwick Boseman?
I don't know.
Hard to say.
Per what we were talking about earlier, I'm trying to remember. I think he does show up again,
In this season.
but I don't imagine he recorded a season 2. So
No.
for
For sure. If he were to show
It'd
up
be
in a
someone
season
else.
2, it would be a different voice actor. for
But
sure.
I don't know if their policy for not recreating him in the movies will be the same for
For the-
voice acting,
Right,
because
that
voice
was
acting
kind of my
is a
thought,
little
too.
different, but or a lot different.
Yeah.
But also there is the symbolic nature of T'Challa basically being Chadwick Boseman and Chadwick Boseman
Right.
being T'Challa. you
They're
know, it's-
basically like one and the same now. Yeah, totally.
So maybe they'll do what some have suspected will happen in the movies. Maybe Shuri will step up, or the Dora Milaje or M'Baku or somebody. That's a hard one. I don't
Yeah, I don't know.
know
they're
if anyone
navigating
should
that.
ever.
Yeah,
I
me
don't know if
neither.
anyone should ever depict T'Challa again, unless it is specifically stated this is one of those universes that's wildly different from.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe an alternate
Yeah,
T'Challa.
I
of
don't
some
think
kind, but-
I personally would like to see him even voiced by somebody else.
Really? Okay.
I don't.
Well, yeah, I was mad. Drax. I mean, this fellow did a great job. But
Yeah,
like,
I thought he did a great job.
why was Dave Bautista not here? And they said
I
it was
don't
like
know.
a misunderstanding. It was very odd.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
it's
And it
not-
was
well-
like 3 lines too. So
Yeah,
like,
right.
And Dave Bautista said he wasn't asked. So
Well, no. So the word that I heard was that they contacted him, but he never contacted them back. They said they couldn't get a
Interesting,
hold
'cause
of him.
well, I mean,
'cause
it wouldn't be him.
He
It
had
would
the
be
reverse.
his agents and managers. So I don't know
Yeah.
how that could happen.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, I
want
mean,
hi-
he
they
said
want
they
his
didn't
money.
reach out, so-
Yeah, of course they do.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
So
weird.
yeah, something tells me
Odd.
that maybe it was still during the times of like the whole James Gunn controversy, maybe, and he was just like, I don't know, put a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't want to like. I'm putting words in people's mouths. I don't know any of that, but I'm just.
Well, yeah, I don't know because if you take him at his word, which I have no reason not to, he said he very much wanted to be involved. So,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
disappointed that he wasn't.
So
So,
weird. So
odd.
weird. Well, I hope
But
that
anyway.
whatever it actually wasn't super dramatic, and
well, and it's bizarre too because he's back for Guardians 3. So, like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hang up here is, but
Yeah, I don't
anyway.
know.
So next week it looks like we are heading into Loki land,
Very cool.
Ooh.
and they're approaching the story from the standpoint of Loki being the ruler of Asgard and showing up at the United Nations as the king of Asgard. So, yikes.
So weird.
Scary.
Do you have any closing thoughts on this episode? I mean, I can only say like so many nice things about
Oh, I
it.
know.
don't-
Same.
Yeah.
I-
I mean, yeah.
My only thoughts about it are really about the future, because like we're getting like these kind of, well, I don't know, I guess the ending, you could say, like the sort of the epilogue was a little like terrifying, but I mean, like, such a happy end for the characters. I'm wondering if we'll ever get like a really spooky what if episode where like everything ends in utter dismay, and it's just there
Probably the
is no
zombie one, I would
resolution, and
imagine.
It's just
Oh
awful.
yeah, the zombie one probably.
You think
If
that
anyone's
one
gonna
is
do
just
that.
going to end in a really like terrible way?
I
I don't see
know.
how it could end in a good way, but I mean,
It-
I guess anything's
It depends on the
possible.
nature of what kind of zombie they are. Is it like they are dead, or they got some kind of virus?
Right.
And,
And
I mean, they
can be
look dead
cured.
to me. They look like
Yeah.
dead zombies, but
Right.
so it will depend on that. I mean,
Sure.
If it comes to like decapitating an undead Captain America, I don't know if there's
Ew.
like a happy ending there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like I'm glad you're
wondering-
alive, but yeah,
I'm wondering what that will be. There's this run of the Flash comics that came out like last year,
Yeah.
Flash Future State,
Mm.
and all of his friends get kind of like warped into some scary dream state where they're basically zombies.
Oh, okay.
So I just like I'm wondering, like you said,
maybe it's
if
like
it's
that.
like if it's like they're actual zombies or if they're in some weird like, state, or it's a virus or whatever. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to find out.
Definitely very
I'm-
fun.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this episode other than I just
loved
loved it.
it.
I just loved it.
So
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will like definitely watch this again with much glee
Oh yes,
and joy.
indeed.
yes.
We got an Eternals trailer last night at the dead of night.
Oh my God, yes.
Wowza!
And we finally know what the hell is going on,
Yeah.
kind of.
We have a plot.
Enough.
Yeah.
Enough to get me to the theater. I don't need to see any more, but
Yeah, it's not just like pretty and mysterious anymore. We got a little bit of information.
And we actually got some answers to some pretty big questions, like the why they
where the F were you?
yeah, where the F were they? They literally give it a legit reason, which if you don't want to know, this is a spoiler alert, but apparently they were told by the Celestials to not do anything unless it was something to do with the deviants.
Right. They do not engage in a conflict unless the deviants are involved. And
Yeah.
we've seen the Celestial that is very briefly pictured in the trailer, because the Collector has an image of it as well when he's explaining the Infinity Stones to everybody, and these things can. You see that Celestial with a giant staff destroy an entire planet
That's right.
with
That's
seemingly
right.
the Power Stone. But that was that Celestial. So interesting. We're getting really cosmically weird here.
Well, yeah, I didn't even think about this until now, but like, these giant celestial beings have the power, all the stones. Like, did they just give the stones up, or did somebody take them from them? I got a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, I don't know how they got from A to C.
Right?
What is
There's-
what is the kind of like general vibe of the current Eternals run that you're reading, Daniel? What
I haven't gotten super deep into it yet. It's
Okay.
we're more still very exposition-y now.
Okay.
In where I'm at, like introducing characters, introducing kind of like the vibe. But yeah,
Gotcha.
I haven't seen like any Celestials or anything like that. We haven't gotten there yet.
And I don't believe. I feel like I've seen almost every single mainstream Marvel character in this Avengers run I'm about to finish, but I don't. The Eternals have not shown up, so I don't know what they're off doing. But
Interesting.
But they could use their help.
They're
I
so
think.
busy.
Yeah, the Deviants are involved, so you can't stop the universe from collapsing in on itself. Thanks.
Now, isn't Thanos? Doesn't he have deviant DNA in him or something like that? Am I crazy?
That's my understanding, in that he's kind of the odd duck of the Eternal family.
Right. So, like, I guess that's still kind of a little bit weird that they wouldn't
be involved.
involved in the Thanos snap. Yeah, because he is sort of directly involved with them. But
Well,
yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure
that's I'm sure we're gonna get an answer because that's
Yeah,
like the
we'll get an
biggest
answer
thing.
to it.
Everyone's like, where the hell were these people?
But they do mention the Thanos snap. Like, that's one of the
Yeah.
first things you hear in the trailer, and the fact that when they snapped everyone back, the energy, there was enough energy to start the what did they call it?
The Emergence.
The emergence.
And it's
Yes.
on a 7-day timeline, very biblical,
Uh-huh.
very creepy.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I imagine their relationship with Thanos is obviously incredibly fractured. He was a problem child, and I bet there's a great deal of regret in letting one of their own do something like that. So I'm sure that's something they will investigate further.
Sure.
Yeah. And I don't
It's
know.
a
that
Luke
we get to-
Skywalker, Kylo Ren situation.
Right.
Oh, right.
Totally.
And it
I'm
looks
not
like
going
we're
to kill you,
getting
but I
sort of
should
like,
have.
Yeah.
in this movie, we're going to get some like 2012 vibes. Like chaotic, like giant waves and earthquakes and
Sure.
And God, I mean, this is set 5 years after Endgame, as Selma Hayek says, but I mean, these people have just been through so friggin' much.
yeah.
well,
like,
yeah,
can-
they
Can you give us
basically-
5 years?
I'm not sure if they're gonna do it this way, but I mean, they die and then they get sort of like reborn in a new, like, it's sort of like, oh God, what is this? I need to go back and start reading the comics again because I'm already forgetting the names of things. But yeah, they sort of like get revived in like a new body, but like it's the same body, I guess.
Trippy.
Yeah, and they reflect that in. It was the second trailer where you see the way the shots are framed are very similar, but you can tell they're in 3 separate time periods. So they're going to show that passage of time, which is
Right.
really cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, I cannot wait. It just looks so
out there.
cinematically different from anything we've seen in Marvel, and I love that.
That's what Phase 4 is going to be for
Oh,
them.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
the pushing the envelope. Everything everybody said about Shang-Chi says it does that, and it is way out there in terms of imagery and
I've heard probably, if not some of the best, or it might be the best fight choreography that's ever graced the screen.
Well,
they said if
that
you're a
is
martial arts-
expected.
Yeah.
if you're
I'm
a martial
expecting
arts
that.
fan,
Yeah.
then it
Because
sounds like it's going to be.
you're not just getting like one flavor of style. You're getting
yeah.
so many, and they're just paying homage to like all of the greats,
All the different forms and stuff.
Yeah.
That's so
Well,
cool.
Kurosawa and Jackie Chan rolled into one. I mean, like
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you have the elegance of Kurosawa and of his filmmaking, and then Jackie Chan's just unbelievable gravity-defying
Mm-hmm.
stunts. So
yeah. And you're getting a little crouching tiger, hidden dragon in there.
Yeah.
You're getting like all of the things. It's so cool.
it's gonna be a celebration of all that good stuff, which is gonna be a lot of fun. And probably going to have very large ramifications. Not probably, will have large ramifications for the Marvel Universe. All of these will.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're waiting, as we talked about on the last episode, we're waiting the Spider-Man trailer, which should be imminent. And hopefully it doesn't get pushed, because I was just reading an article in Deadline today that people are getting antsy again. Studios are getting antsy.
Oh, dear.
There's talk
About
of moving Venom
the variant.
off of its release date right now. Hopefully that doesn't affect everything. But Marvel, honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it will affect Marvel as much, because I think they've made the decision we can't push anything anymore. We've
Right.
got so much
Right,
coming
yeah,
down the
that-
pipe that, and none of these filmmakers
they
want
would-
it put on Disney Plus. I mean, they are intent you see it in a theater, so that's gonna be difficult for.
I think they could get a lot of people to get the vaccine if they, if like movie theaters require vaccines and they don't do anything on Disney Plus anymore. They just put everything out in the movie theaters.
Well, that's what Chadwick was talking about with Shang-Chi when his words got misconstrued. I think that's exactly what he's referencing. He's like, I'm not putting this on Disney Plus for a 45-day window or whatever it was.
Right.
I want to see how it does in theaters
And
by
then,
itself.
Yeah, and then we'll put it on Disney Plus after.
Which
Right.
I hope incentivizes people to go, because the reviews have been so good for Shang-Chi that I'm hoping that if you're vaxxed, then get out there and see it.
Yeah, and Kevin Feige too, because like Kevin Feige has been like surprisingly vocal with all these like things
with
that
the
have
Black
happening
Widow
lately,
stuff.
and he actually stepped in and was like, "Yeah, I think that was just a misunderstanding."
Well,
Yeah,
it
makes sense.
it was clickbait.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
big,
sure.
It was nothing.
big time. Yeah.
So yeah, this I'm excited every week for What If, and we're weeks away from
Thrilled,
another.
really.
We're back in the swing of things. Like
Yeah.
we're getting some normalcy back, which is good.
Yes. Everybody
Thankful.
thankful. Thanks for listening. Please take care of yourselves. Stay healthy.
Go get vaccinated for God's sakes.
Please.
Please just do it.
Just do it.
Please. Just do it.
I would never advocate for doing anything other than this. Like truly, like I'm a
Great.
big personal freedoms guy.
Yeah, like
and-
do whatever you're gonna do,
But not
but
this.
get the fuck
Not
get
But
this.
vaccinated.
please get the vaccine.
Yeah, we're
just do
begging
it.
you. We're begging you. This is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast. Please like and subscribe.